With His grace, we are in Chapter 7. People in Kaiwara are so lucky to live close to Sri Nareyana Thathaya's matta and cave, like those who live in Shridi, Akalkot, who can have his darshan every day. Thanks to all those listens. My salutations to Shri Sadguru Yogi Nareyana Thathayaa. Satcharitra of Shri Sadguru Yogi Nareyana Thathaya of Kaiwara. Chapter 7. Narayanapa's interest in spiritual practice and business on the one hand and the excess expenditure of his wife on the other, the household was forever in poverty. This, in turn, affected the replenishment of fresh stock in Narayanapa's trade. So he had to borrow money for his working capital. It happened on numerous occasions. As security, he offered a pledge, or signed a promissory note. Also, he was very prompt in repayment. As soon as he received his sale money, he cleared the loan with interest, but he failed to take back his signed pledge and relevant documents against which he took loans. Nor were the money lenders honest enough to give them back. Devout people like Narayanapa were never aware of such a thing as deception in the world, much less in the business world. Also, Narayanapa's wife, Muniamma, began borrowing money from whoever she could, without the knowledge of her husband. The lenders found no risk because they had the promissory notes executed by him. In that way, all sources of credit were exhausted. In those days, there was a village head, an official appointed by the government to look after the revenue and accounts of that village. The village head, called Koronom, has undisputed authority over the village. It was a responsible position that called for outstanding knowledge and scholarship. Therefore, it was usually held by the Brahmin community, which has implicit proficiency in the Vedas, literature, music, and other sciences. With time, it became so customary that any Brahmin could hold the position without regard to his intellectual qualifications. In the transition, it came to belong to whoever could occupy it with craftiness. The Koronom was the most feared one in the village. His word was the law. The Koronom of Kaiwara town was Malaya, who was given up to sin and vice. Because of his opulence, supervision, and authority, he was revered as a man of varied scholarship. To one used to such public fear and respect, Narayanapa is a cause of jealousy. Narayanapa has won public fame and favor for his righteousness and spirituality. He was jealous of the limelight that outshone him and harbored irrational hostility for the religious man Narayanapa. That aside, Malaya was a singer of a sort. Whenever he happened to get any hint of prayer and bhajans going on in the town, he would present himself there uninvited. His assistant would be along, carrying a carpet for him. He would have it laid out and sit down to take part. Everyone respected him as the village head, and he would presume upon their respect and modesty. He would embark on the vocal rendition of divine songs, without regard to the hoarseness of his voice. No other person would be allowed to sing. When he was singing praises to Sir Rama with the hoarse voice of a Ravana, everyone was obliged to be lost in the vicious melody. No suggestions or opinions were welcome. If anything, everyone has to praise him. What a musician! This proficiency must have been brought over from the previous lives. Otherwise, they knew he would make their lives difficult. To sum up, Koranam Malaya was a confirmed scoundrel. To crown it all, he used to engage in spiritual debate with Nareyana, which was certainly above his petty stature. The arguments put forth by Malaya were hollow and absurd. Nareyana was aware that Malaya was incapable of feeling the essence of spiritual philosophy. Any logical interaction with him was no better than a brawl among the street dogs. So he was avoided like a dog. Nareyana resided over the gatherings of devotees every day. He would enlighten the members on the essence of spiritual philosophy. He would denounce the fanatical disparities among human beings in the partisan terms of caste, color, and creed. He emphasized the equality and oneness of all. He championed the concept of solidarity among the human race as a whole. Koranam Malaya feared that, if such education was not discouraged, his own reputation and authority would be at stake. Nobody would respect him, much less fear him, as the powerful, knowledgeable headman. The best way to discourage Nareyana was to ensure his absence. He must be expelled from the town. His moneylenders could be incited to harass him for a payment. Alternatively, he could be summoned to the unjust gathering and given punishment or insult. Malaya was waiting for the right moment to launch his attack. This is the end of chapter 7, and thanks for listening.